Hi guys, welcome back to Geeks 40k channel and welcome back to our latest battle report. Today we have the Ultramarines up against the Solar Auxilia. Ed is taking part in a Throne of Skulls, so this is a test game for his list. So we're going to be using Throne of Skulls objective marker cards in this one, so that's always slightly exciting because it's all slightly different. Objective markers are down, as so are deployment. We have some very beautiful objective markers that Ed has brought with him. So we have number 1 down here in the bottom right hand corner. Number 6 up in the ruined Administratum building. We have number 5 in the middle of the board. Its little plasma coils going wild. We have number 2 right at the back of the board. We have number 4. Which looks very convenient, like an Ultramarines drop pod, has crash landed into this building, destroying it. And then finally we have number 3 down here. So these objective markers are from Games and Gear, and they are the limited edition Adepticon objectives. So with that in mind, Gulliman is taking to the field again today. He's got a little bit of making up to do, well, to me, after the Winter's battle. So let's see how he gets on. HQ for the Solar Auxilia today. We have a Legate, who Ed has called Damar. He comes equipped with digital lasers, melter bombs and a refractor field. Over to troops, Ed is running 2 squads of Velataris. Both of these squads will be running in armoured Draconian. So that's both of the squads there. These look absolutely beautiful. I do love the Solar Auxilia, so different to the 40k Imperial Guard. Over to heavy support, we have 3 Lehman Russ Incinerators. These are basically nasty cannons. Next in the heavy support we have a Malcador Infernus. This has been upgraded with the Chemical Inferno cannon, which is Wims on 2+, it's AP2. This one is Torrent 18 inches, so a little bit different to its 40k brother, son version of it. So yeah, scared of this is going to hurt. And then final heavy support choice, we have the Valdor tank. So this comes equipped with the neutron beam laser and autocannon. I've not faced one of these before. Should be quite interesting to take on. And then finally, for the Solar Auxilia, we have a lightning strike fighter. This comes with las cannons and Kraken penetrating missiles. This thing is horrible. The missiles are vile. So that is the 2,000 points of Solar Auxilia. Looking forward to getting into these guys. How much damage can the Ultramarines do to them? HQ for the Ultramarines today, I am taking a Praetor. He's in Cataphractii Terminator armour with a Chain Fist and a Combi Melter. Next to him is a console that has been upgraded to a Chaplain. This guy is equipped with a Plasma Pistol. These guys are going to be leading the force today. Troops, I am taking a 10-man tactical squad. Sergeant is upgraded with Artificer armour and a power sword. Exactly the same loadout for the second set of troops. Over to elites, I am taking my Cataphractii Terminators. These guys are all equipped with chain fists. They will be riding around in the Spartan. Joining them shall be the Praetor and the Chaplain. Looking forward to getting my Spartan on the field again. Heavy support is my Scorpius Whirlwind. This thing likes raining death and fire and destruction down onto the battlefield. Fast attack, I'm taking my 3 Scimitar jet bikes. These are equipped with heavy bolters and one of them is upgraded to a Volkite. So I'm looking forward to zooming these around the battlefield. For the first time, my Xiphon Flyer is coming into the fray today. This is equipped with 2 twin-link las cannons and the Xiphon rotary missile launcher. Looking forward to getting this on the board. And finally, the Avenging Sun himself is in the Ultramarines force. He has something to prove. Can he redeem himself after the last battle. So that is my 2,000 points of Ultramarines that is taking on the Solar Auxiliary today. Basically, with Guilliman in the force, it means I can give Tank Hunter impeccable advance or interceptor to a squad. So I've given these guys impeccable advance, which means they are now a scoring unit. So I'm hoping they'll be zooming around the board, securing objectives for the Ultramarines. The 3 Lehman Russ incinerators are deployed on the left-hand side of the battlefield, holding on and making it difficult for me to get anywhere near the drop pod objective there in the ruins of the building. Next to them on the battlefield we have the MacLeod in Furnace. Now, I've faced one of these before with Jonathan's Imperial Guard army in 40k, so I know they're nasty and I know they're vile. And then next to that is the other big tank, which is the Valdor. Now, I've never faced one of these before, so it's going to be interesting to see what these are like. And behind them, bringing up the rear, we have the armoured Dracosian, holding on to, well, inside that there's going to be lots of squishy troops that I really want to get out and kill and murder. And then finally, we have the other transport tank sitting on the radar dish, holding by the fuel dump and the fuel pipelines, ready to move down the board towards the Ultramarines. The first of the tactical squads are sheltered down behind the ruins of the building next to Objective 1. If I'm lucky enough to pull that card out on the first turn, that will be quite handy. But then they've also got nice bits of cover as they would head their way up the battlefield if needed. Slap bang in the middle of the battlefield, I have my Spartan, and inside there are my Terminators, my Praetor, my Chaplain, and Rebute Guilliman, ready to move up the field, trying to get into combat with these tanks. All my Terminators have chain fists, so I'm hoping they'll make light work of these tanks. Next to that is my second tactical squad, again holding on to Objective 6. If I pull that card out, hopefully I will, because that'll be some nice easy victory points. Laying down fire from the back of the battlefield is the Scorpius Whirlwind, hopefully going to be blowing some holes in these tanks and causing damage. I know that the tanks have a 6-up cover save against blast weapons, so that's going to be quite interesting. And then finally for the Ultramarines, I have my 3 Scimitar jet bikes. Now, Guilliman has passed on implacable advance to these guys, so this means that they are now a scoring unit. So the idea is with these, until the troops come out of the tanks and they can lay down their bolter and volkite fire, I can zoom around the board as much as I can, trying to capture objectives. So Ed's tactical objective is pulled out domination. Score D3 victory points if you control every objective marker on the board at the end of your turn. He only has 2 scoring units, so I'm not sure he's going to be able to do that. But over to movement. Basically, everything's kind of moved up apart from this one. This one's stayed still. He's sitting there with his engine ticking over, and the guys inside just kicking back and relaxing. So the Valdor's barrel, he's looking down the battlefield at my speed jet bikes, or my troops, or my Spartan. Please, not my Spartan. The MacLeod has also moved up. Its flame template is slightly different to the one that you use in 40k. It's worse and horrible and nasty, so we'll have to see what that does when he fires it. The other troop transport, I think, has stayed still.
No, it moved up a little bit.
Oh, no, it's moved up a little bit. There we go. And then finally, the 3 Lehman Russ incinerators have moved up. They are basically on that objective, but their guns are pointed squarely at my troops. So the MacLeod, which is slightly different in 30k, has a torrent range of 18 inches, and Ed has actually paid for the chemical inferno gun. So torrent of 18 inches landed them straight on top of my jet bikes, and it's an AP2 weapon that ignores cover. Yeah, so they're dead. Yay. So that's first blood to Ed. Literally everything else on the board opened up at the Spartan, but because of the flare shield at the front arc, it basically made it very difficult for Ed to do anything to the tank, and the shots that hit on the side, he rolled very low. So this Spartan tank is unhurt. It has not been touched. As we head over to the Ultramarines' turn, the Solar Auxilia are on their way up the board. So my objective marker is secure objective 5, which is the plasma core right in the middle of the board. So I moved my Spartan up, and that was the only thing that moved. I was so toying with the idea of getting everybody out on my Spartan and going into the Lehman Russes that are here. However, I'd have probably destroyed them with the amount of chain fists in the squad and Gulliman as well. So I'd have probably destroyed them, which would have left me open for an AP2 torrent of death and destruction from over there. But then I've also got secure objective 5. So because this is heresy scoring, my Terminators could hold that objective, but then they would get flamed to hell. So I've left them in the tank. I've left them in. It's it's just not worth it. I'm scared. So the las cannons opened up from the Spartan at this squad here. Bounced completely off the front armour. The other sponson las cannons from the Spartan opened up at the MacLeod, doing 1 hull point. And then the only other thing to fire was the Scorpius from right down the far end. It opened up a shell across the battlefield. It scattered wildly. It went about there and then flipped forward. So I managed to destroy some mud and some grass. So Ed has pulled out Ascendancy, which is score D3 victory points. If you score 3 objective markers, he's got 2 scoring units, so that one's not going to happen. And Psychological Warfare. So I think the only way that he can actually do that one is if he makes my troops fail a morale check. The Lehman Russ Infernos have moved up. 2 of their guns are looking down at my vulnerable troops at the back of the board, and the third one is looking squarely at my Spartan. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned, especially as Ed's Flyer is on. The Lightning Strike Fighter is on with its Kraken stupidness of stupid, which will probably destroy everything in my army. But I do have my Xiphon to come on, so if that can come on for me in turn 2, I think that will make a difference, because with the ground tracking auguries, it will hit ground targets on a 2. So, yeah, that might make a difference. Over here, the transport tank has moved back. He's got a plan just in case he ever pulls out objective 4. Just not a short distance for the guys inside to move. The Malcador tank has basically moved around a little bit. Probably ready with its stupid 18-inch torrent range. And then finally, the Valdor has moved around. Its gun is squarely pointed at the other side of my Spartan. Now, obviously, Ed's kind of showing the side armour a little bit here, but there isn't really anything in here that can hurt it. And the Scorpius will be hitting the side anyway, so it's kind of like, yeah, whatever. So, yeah, let's head over to shooting. Well, that hurt. The Malcador opened up with its torrent flame of death and destruction, killing off 7 of my tactical squad. They have rallied, however, so really could do with pulling out secure objective 6. Really could do with that now, so that these guys can then run away and get shelter. I said the Kraken missiles were stupid. They are armor bane. They destroyed my Spartan, killing off 1 Terminator in the blast, and then these guys here opened up at the survivors, killing off another 1. So I'm down to 3 Terminators, the Traitor, the Chaplain, and Gulliman. So on my turn, I think it's time to go destroy these, and hopefully my Xiphon Flyer will come on so I can start popping other tanks off and take out the deadly flyer. So I got quite lucky with my tactical objectives. I've got secure objective 1. So these guys have shuffled round. They're now on objective 1. And I also pulled out Ascendancy. So this is D3 victory points if you control any 3 objective markers. So I've obviously got that one. These guys have shuffled round and have taken that one. Over here, the Terminators have split off from Gulliman, the Praetor, and the Chaplain, who will be going into combat over here with this squadron, hopefully killing it off. My Terminators have moved. I've only got 3 of them left. I know they're going to get flamed to death, but it's a 3-inch run move to secure that objective. If I can do that, I will have 3 objective markers, and that will score me D3 extra victory points. So I've got to start scoring these. I need to start getting back. The Terminators aren't going to be doing it on their own. My Xiphon Flyer is on. We have some covering fire. I think that this is going to have to lay down its fire at the MacLeod to try and save the Terminators from the flame of destruction and doom. So I'm hopefully, potentially, going to be scoring 4 victory points this turn. The Valdor has had 2 hull points taken off it. It was opened up by the Scorpius Whirlwind at the back of the board. The missiles rained down and hit true. Got 3 hits on it, so managed to take off 2 hull points. My Xiphon Flyer, I've been really looking forward to playing with since I finished the model, came on, opened up at the MacLeod and destroyed it. The explosion went about 9 inches forward, so it didn't hurt anybody. I ran my Terminators up there within 3 inches of that objective marker, securing me that. So I'm quite happy. This thing, I like. It has just destroyed the big, nasty, horrible flame of death and destruction off the board. So I'm going to be scoring... I've scored 1 victory point for the first objective marker, and then I'm holding 3 objective markers, so that will be D3. But we will sort that out after Gulliman, the Praetor, and the Chaplain have gone into combat with this squad here. There is a big hole in the battlefield. There's more craters being created because the 3 Lehman Russes have gone. 1 was pulled down by the Praetor, and the other 2 were smashed upon by the Avenging Sun himself. He used his power fist in the combat to thump his way through their armour panels, and they blew up. They've gone. I'm happy about that. I'm happy that my Terminators are on that objective. So I score 1 victory point for holding objective 1 and D3 for holding 3 objectives. So I'm going to roll that now. And it's a 6. So I do get my 4 victory points this turn. Happy days. So Ed has kept psychological warfare. He's really looking at making one of my squads retreat and fall back. And he's pulled out secure objective 3 twice. So with that in mind, the Veltaris have got out of the armoured Dracosian. They are here. They're on the board. They are squishy. I like them. But they are looking at running objective 3, scoring Ed 2 victory points this turn if he manages to get hold of it. But then they will be facing off against a Primarch. So will they survive? Not sure, but if they do their job and hold on to that objective marker, that is all Ed is after. The Flyer has moved up. Its las cannons are pointing at my Xiphon Flyer. And then finally, over this side of the battlefield, the Valdor has moved up. I think it's going to be looking at killing off these guys more than likely, or try and take out the Scorpius. Interesting. Not sure if they will... I'm not sure if I will survive, actually, to be quite honest. And obviously, this one has not moved. It's sitting there, engine still ticking over at the back of the battlefield. And the guys inside are just smoking cigars, chilling out, while the rest of the force tries to dominate the battlefield. The Valdor tank opened up with its heavy stubber at the tactical squad down here, killing off another one. They have, however, passed their morale check because the sergeant is still alive. The big nasty cannon that sits at the front opened up at the Scorpius, taking off a hull point and destroying my rocket launchers. So this is now a Rhino. Yay. Nobody's touched that squad. The Flyer opened up at the Flyer. However, I managed to jink a penetrating hit. So my Flyer is untouched at the moment. And then Ed obviously ran these guys down here, and they are within 3 inches of that objective marker. So they will score 2 victory points this turn. So currently it is 4-3 to the Ultramarines. So my objectives for turn 3, I have Score Objective 2, which is right down the other side of the battlefield in the Solar Auxilia deployment zone, so that's not going to happen this turn. Kingslayer, he is tucked up in a tank at the back of the battlefield, so not going to happen. And Psychological Warfare. So, kind of with Psychological Warfare in mind, these guys have stayed still. However, Rebute, the Praetor and the Chaplain have just witnessed these guys run forward and secure that objective. So I'm going to shoot them, then I'm going to take them into combat, and hopefully I'll leave one alive and he'll run away. And then I'll score that victory point. what will probably happen is I'll probably run in and murder them all and not score it. On the other side of the battlefield, the piece of scenery that was my Scorpius Whirlwind has stayed still. The two troops have moved back a little bit, trying to get a little bit of cover from this tank that I need to deal with. So with that in mind, my Terminators have moved up. They are going to be going in through cover, so it's going to be an 8-inch charge with the +2. But if they make it, this tank will go boom. My Xiphon Flyer has moved forward, its sights set on the transport at the back where the Warlord is. So maybe pop it, destroy it, bring these guys out, and then I will have to try and mop them up in the next couple of turns. The Xiphon Flyer, because it had jinked last turn, needed 6s to hit. Even with twin linked, I didn't get any, so this tank is unhurt. That was really the only thing to shoot. Guilliman, the Praetor, and the Chaplain opened up, and I killed off 3 with their weapons. I then went into assault and basically butchered and murdered the entire squad. They squealed as they died, but that denied me psychological warfare because I killed them all off. My Terminators did not make it into combat with the tank, so this is alive. It is free to go forward and into the back lines and kill off the remaining tactical squad that it's been after all game. So no victory points that turn. I think I'm going to discard psychological warfare because there's only one more troop choice left in the tank right at the back of the battlefield over there that I'm not... no, it's not going to happen, so that card is going. So the tactical objectives for turn 4, we have secure objective 6. That is all the way down in my deployment zone, with no troops anywhere near it for Ed, so he's not going to be getting that one. Secure objective 4, that is the drop pod that is all the way down here, and I did murder the squad that could do anything about that one in the last turn. Secure objective 2, that is in Ed's deployment zone, and he has got his troops out and holding that one. So that's 1 for Ed at the end. And then assassinate. So this is score 1 victory point at the end of your turn if at least one enemy character was removed as a casualty during your turn. Now, we think that the sergeants in the tactical squads count as characters. We are checking before Ed kills me whether or not that's right. But anyway, over to movement. So I've already shown you the fact that these guys are out. They are holding objective 2. The other tank has, well, the other transport tank has moved back away from Guilliman, the Praetor, and the Chaplain. I think they're a little bit scared of the fact that it's going to go pop if any of them guys with their chain fist get anywhere near it. And then with assassinate in mind, if we are right on the fact that a character counts as a sergeant, Ed has brought his flyer around and his nasty, horrible tank with the big gun with 2 guys left. So, las cannons, death and destruction being rained down on these 2. I can wave them goodbye. The armoured Dracosians, both of them opened up at my Xiphon Flyer. Not hitting at all, but I did declare a jinx, so it's going off the board anyway, so I'm not overly fussed the fact that I can't shoot my missiles. Down here, the 2 guys died. My sergeant died from the shots from this Valdor. And then the one remaining guy was pulled down by the last cannons from the fighter. So that's that squad gone. So at the end of that turn, Ed scores 2 victory points. He scores for a scoring objective 2, which is this one down here. And we have checked, and assassinate is counted for the sergeant because he is a character. So that is 2 victory points for Ed. So that makes it 5-4 to the Solar Auxilia as we head into turn 4 for the Ultramarines. So the 2 new objective cards that I pulled out are Big Game Hunter and Supremacy. So Big Game Hunter is destroy a enemy vehicle. So with that in mind, they're not a squad anymore, they're on their own. And these guys have moved forward. Guilliman and the Chaplain are up. It's a 7-inch charge into the tank here. I'm hoping I can get in and destroy it. The Praetor rolled a measly 1 to go over the rubble of the building. So he stumbled a little bit, so it'll be down to these guys only to get in. And then I also have Supremacy, which means I need to hold 2 objective markers. I need to hold double the amount that Ed's got. And Ed's got 1. And I have left my Terminators standing still, so they are securing Objective 5. And then obviously these guys at the back of the battlefield are securing Objective 1. So that'll be a D3 victory points and maybe an extra one if I can pop this tank. The Terminators have pointed their bolters at the Solar Auxilia guys down here, killing off the lead guy. They've taken a casualty. The others are kind of hunkered down behind the tank, into the side of the tank, so that's not too bad. These guys are holding Objective 5 for me. So this is with Supremacy in mind. These guys are obviously holding Objective 1. So the other one was Big Game Hunter. Now my Chaplain and Reboot Gulliman made it into combat, and Gulliman punched the tank clean in the front armour and sent shockwaves rippling round the body of the tank and blowing it sky high. So I score Big Game Hunter and I also score Supremacy. So that's Big Game Hunter scored. That's 1 victory point. Now Supremacy is D3, so I need to roll the dice. It's a 1, so it's only 2 victory points this turn out of a possible 4. But that means that it is 6-5 going into turn 5 to the Ultramarines. This is really close now. So Ed's tactical objectives for turn 5. He has score Objective 2 again. So the tank and the troops have moved back a little bit, but still holding the objective. These guys are going to look at firing into Gulliman and the Chaplain that are down here. He also has pulled out 2 secure Objective 4s, but there's nobody anywhere near that one. Hold the line, so at least 3 of your scoring units. Ed only has 1. And Blood and Guts, which is destroy somebody in the assault phase. These guys are the only ones that can do any kind of close combat. So, yeah, that's not going to happen. The only other thing is Ed's Flyer's now gone off the board and the Valdor tank has moved round. My poor Terminators. My poor Terminators are going to get shot in the back. Can I keep them alive? So the Valdor tank opened up with the autocannon at the back of the Terminators, doing 1 wound and managed to save it. The big, nasty, horrible cannon fired. Snake eyes. No damage whatsoever to my Terminators. So I'm quite happy about that, to be honest. And then the only other thing to open up was the tank, which opened up at these guys down here with its las cannons. Again, not doing any damage whatsoever. So at the end of Ed's turn 5, he scores secure Objective 2, which makes it 6-all going into the Ultramarines turn 5. I hope the cards are kind to me. Turn 5 objective markers for the Ultramarines. I have managed to pull out Hungry for Glory, which is destroy somebody in a challenge. Secure Objective 2, which Ed's guys are sitting all over. And no prisoners. So secure 1 victory point if a unit was completely destroyed. If you completely destroy between 3 and 5 enemy units, D3 victory points. So that's the one I'm going for. And with that in mind, the Terminators have moved up. They are looking through the driver slit of the Valdor tank, and I'm going to punch it with my chain fists, hopefully destroying that. So that'll be 1 enemy unit destroyed. My Xiphon Flyer is back on. It is ready to open up at the tank with the Warlord, who's still sitting in there, yelling his commands through the Vox network. I'm hopefully going to destroy that. Maybe kill off a couple of these guys, and then round the corner, ready to open fire if needed, are Gulliman and my Chaplain. The Xiphon Flyer opened up at the Armoured Dracosian, removing 2 hull points. It was a 9-inch charge for the squad. They made it in. Gulliman just thumped it with his power fist, removing all of the remaining hull points. It blew up. It went 1-inch blast, killing off one of these little guys down here. So that is destroying a vehicle over there. I needed to kill 3 units. So that's 1. Over to the Terminators. The Terminators went into the Valdor tank, destroying it. It automatically blows up. The blast went Titanic. 2 guys underneath the blast, the D-blast part of the template died, failed to make me in-run saves, and the sergeant under the strength 10 part survived, so I'm down to 1 Terminator left. But I killed off 2 of Ed's units, which is not enough to score me the D3 victory points part of no prisoners. I only score 1. So as it stands, it is 7-6 to the Ultramarines. So do we get a turn 6? If not, to be honest, Ed, we do. Whoa, it's close. So as well as the 3 from last turn, Ed has pulled out overwhelming firepower, which is scoring victory point if a unit was completely destroyed during your shooting phase. Secure Objective 1, which is all the way down in my half of the battlefield with a tactical squad sitting on it. And Legion's Might. If every unit in your army causes an unsaved wound or hull point damage, you get D3 victory points. So, with overwhelming firepower and Legion's Might in mind, Ed has combined his Warlord and his troop choice together. They are going to be laying a lot of firepower down on Gulliman and the Chaplain. Trying to pull down the Chaplain, just cause a wound, would be nice for Ed at this point, to be honest. Over here, the Flyer is back on. He is right on the edge of the battlefield, drawing a line down to the tactical squads down here. He's going to try and cause an unsaved wound on 1 model. On a little note, Ed has just pointed out that the way he's put this strike fighter means he can shoot the tactical squad. However, if there is no damage done to the Chaplain, he has got the Whirlwind within sights as well. So that's a really good placement from Ed. So let's see. I think the part of it is, can he do any damage to the Chaplain? So, part of Ed's grand scheme, he had to cause a wound on my Chaplain with these guys opening fire, which is exactly what he did. My Chaplain is down to 1 wound. So, with that, he had to blow up or kill a tactical squad or my Scorpius with his lightning strike fighter, which he did. He removed all the hull points. It's gone from the battlefield. So that scores him overwhelming firepower. So a unit was destroyed, my Whirlwind, and Legion's Might, because both of his units have scored a wound or a hull point. So that's D3 victory points. We're on a road. It's a 1. He scores 2 victory points. So that makes it 7-8 to the Auxiliary Solar. The objectives for my Ultramarines, I've just taken out the deck. Secure Objective 3. Doesn't help me. Behind enemy lines. Doesn't help me. My scoring unit is all the way down in my half. I've also just taken out Blood and Guts, so completely destroy a unit in the assault phase to get a victory point. I also have Hungry for Glory, which is 1 victory point if I issue a challenge. I also have Kingslayer. So there is a possibility of a bucket load of points for the Ultramarines if I can get into combat and if I can kill off the Warlord. The Xiphon Flyer opened up with his twin-lit las cannons onto the Solar Auxilia guys, killing off 2. Rabute Gulliman and the Chaplain opened fire, killing off another 3. And made it into combat. My Chaplain was pulled down to Overwatch fire as he ran in, which left Gulliman on his own. He went in, he issued a challenge. The sergeant from the troops accepted. I hit with a power fist, so they hit me first, doing no damage. Gulliman slapped the taste out of their mouth with the power fist, killing them both off. 2 wounds spilled over onto the Warlord. Both of the invulnerable saves were failed, so he was killed as well. The Avenging Sun is standing in the enemy lines, victorious in that round of combat. So over to victory points. It's actually 8-7 to the Auxiliary Solar at the end of turn 6, but I score Hungry for Glory, which is score 1 victory point if I issue a challenge, which I did with Gulliman. So that is 8 all. I then get blood and guts because I score a victory point because I completely destroyed a unit during the assault phase. And then I also get D3 victory points at the end of your turn if the opponent's warlord was removed as a casualty, which I'm going to roll now. It's a 5, it's 3 victory points. That's on top of Slay the Warlord as well. So out of this turn, I gain 3 victory points, 4 victory points, 5 victory points, 6 victory points for Slay the Warlord, which means it is Ultramarines 13, Solar Auxilia 8. We are going to roll to see if we get a turn 7. Ed's determined this fly is going to do something. We do not! So at the end of the battle then, guys, it is 13 victory points to 8 to the Ultramarines. They are victorious. They have destroyed the traitorous Solar Auxilia. All they have left is their flyer. Personally, I think the big turning point was when my Xiphon flyer came on and destroyed the Malcador tank. I think that really helped me there. There isn't much left on either side. I've got a tactical squad sitting down the board that are untouched and haven't actually moved. But the Avenging Sun himself went onto the board. He'd made sure that the Ultramarines were victorious. The orders he were yelling down the Vox network obviously worked. The Ultramarines pay attention to their Primarch. So as always, guys, I hope you really enjoyed that one. It was a great battle to take part in. I do love the Throne of Skulls tactical objective deck. They are really good fun. So please leave us a like, leave us a comment. It'd be great to hear your feedback. And as always, we will see you on the next one.